We have some breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. We know golf has had its restart. 4 events, but no Tiger Woods. That's about to change.
That changes. We've been wondering when we're going to see Tiger Woods. Of course, this coming out today. That Tiger, we just got to wait one more week. Tiger was committing to the Memorial here on Twitter, saying, I'm looking forward to play in the Memorial next week. Miss going out and competing with the guys and can't wait to get back out there. Of course, he has not been out there since the restart. This will be his first tournament next week, seeing Tiger back on the greens. All right, let's welcome in Kyle Porter joining us on this breaking news here. And Kyle, we were wondering when we were going to see Tiger Woods back on the course. We saw him in the match, too. Looked pretty good. That was his home course, but now we find out he's playing at Memorial.
Yeah, you know, Memorial was always kind of the logical place for him amid this kind of restart for the PGA Tour within the pandemic. Obviously, he's won there 5 times. He has a great history there. The relationship with Jack Nicklaus, Muirfield Village, it's going to be a great field. It's going to be a major championship-like field. And that's the big thing, Brandon, is we were a month away from the PGA Championship. That's what Tiger's been eyeing all along. So what's the event that can best kind of prepare him for that PGA Championship? Schedule-wise, this was the one that set up the best for it. It wasn't the Travelers a couple weeks ago or the RBC Heritage or you know, the 3M Open after that. It was Muirfield Village at the Memorial to prepare him for Harding Park and the PGA at the beginning of August.
Now, we knew that at some point he was going to find something that fits him, wasn't going to rush into this, even though the restart has been going on for weeks up to this point now. But when you think about it, we haven't seen him since the match. You just mentioned that. What's the wear and tear of possibly the game shape he's going to be in, considering this is the first time we've seen him? Of course, he's probably been working out since then, though.
Yeah, it's a great question, because when we last saw him at the Genesis Invitational in February, he wasn't very good. He finished in last place of all the players that made the cut. He did win the Zozo Championship back in November, so he's had kind of a weird year, even though it feels like he last played like 5 years ago. He's had a weird season where he's won, but he's also looked bad. He missed the Arnold Palmer Invitational. He missed the Players Championship because of some kind of lingering back injuries. Nothing super serious, because he said that he, you know, would have been ready, presumably, for the Masters had it not been postponed. I think the thing for him is, will he be rusty? I don't think he will. I think, Brandon, he's somebody who is at the point in his career where he can come out, it's all systems go right away, and he doesn't necessarily need that buildup. We saw him at that charity match with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. He looked awesome. The swing looked unbelievable. Now, mentally, do you have to maybe play your way into it a little bit? Sure, maybe a couple rounds, maybe a full tournament or something like that. But I just think physically, with where he's at, that rest that he's gotten is far more important than getting reps to knock some of that rust off.
Heading into this, what do you want to see from Tiger, considering his game? Is it the driving? Is it on the green? What exactly are you looking to see after this long layoff since the restart of the PGA Tour a bit?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think just consistency from tee to green. You know, I'm not super concerned about the putter. I'm not real concerned about where he's at mentally. He's one of the smartest people to ever play this game. I think the consistency from tee to green, especially off the tee, are you putting yourself in position? Because, you know, we're seeing it today in Muirfield Village. If you're wayward off the tee, I was watching Justin Thomas and those guys play the 18th. Justin Thomas is hitting like a 3-wood off the tee because he wants to position himself correctly. That's something that Tiger has struggled with over the course of his career. Obviously, he hasn't struggled a ton with it because he's won 5 times at Muirfield Village, but I think that's the part of it for me, that it's like, okay, are you putting yourself in a good spot off the tee, and are you doing it consistently? Is it repeatable so that you're able to go out and score and potentially win a golf tournament?
For you, just we know that they're going to be here, of course, this week and next week. The pins can be different. The holes can be different depending on how they kind of shape the course. Does it give them any type of advantage, kind of seeing how the guys are going through it this week leading into the Memorial?
No, I don't think it does, because of what you just said, where they're positioning tees differently. They're lengthening par 5s. They're shortening par 4s. They're putting pins in locations where they won't be for Memorial. I think the thing for Tiger is just having played the Memorial Tournament 1,000,000 times and winning it 5 times. That's what he will draw back on. And that gets to my point earlier of just talking about how, like, rest is the most important thing, because he's so smart and he's so knowledgeable about all these courses that he goes to. He has such institutional knowledge at these places that for me, it's the rest that is the most important thing going into these. So I don't think there's a ton he can learn from potentially watching maybe his buddy Justin Thomas win the Workday Charity Open. I think more of it is drawing on past experience at Muirfield Village.
And we've seen how some of the top golfers in the world kind of have struggled up to this point. Rory, Jon Rahm playing well today. How it's kind of been scattered. It's a different type of field. No fans out there, of course. You have the COVID-19 hovering. Does that even pay anything or any factors into Tiger how he's going to approach next week a little bit?
I don't think so. I think Tiger's pretty singular in the way that he's focused anyway. It was interesting because when you talk about previously, it had been talked about that Memorial would be the first place back for fans, right? 8,000 fans in attendance, whatever that was going to look like. And you're like, wow, how's that going to go with Tiger? People are always around him, always following him. That's going to be weird. I don't know how that's going to go. It's going to be a good thing, I think, for him. And honestly, for you and I watching it on TV to get to have no fans out there, just to let Tiger in his do his thing in his environment, which nobody's maybe ever done it better. So there was a moment, it was interesting. A couple years ago at the Genesis Invitational, there was a Sunday morning where Tiger was finishing up his round with no fans out there. I think it was too early to let people in. There was some rain, something like that. And it was so bizarre watching Tiger on an empty course. And I think the first couple of days of watching Tiger, of all people, on an empty course with no people out there, it's going to be way more bizarre for us than it is going to be for him playing. Exactly.
Of course, Tiger, we know, is committed to Memorial, but between leading up to the PGA Championship, any chances we might see him outside of that, of course, leading up to those majors, anywhere between that, leading up to the PGA Championship a little bit, you're expecting to see him maybe?
No, I don't think so, because you really only have 3M Open, and then you got the event in Memphis the week after the 3M Open. So those are the two events right after the Memorial, and then you've got PGA, and he won't go to 3M Open for sure. And then the WGC in Memphis, the FedEx St. Jude Invitational, I doubt it. I don't really envision him kind of grinding. I mean, Memphis at the end of July, it's going to be pretty hot. I don't think he will put himself through that the week before going out to play the PGA Championship. I think this is the only time we will see him, and that we should see him leading into the PGA in Harding Park.
All right, Kyle Porter, the news. Of course, Tiger Woods committing to Memorial. Don't have to wait that long. Appreciate your time as always, man. So Tiger is back. We've been waiting since the restart. So, I mean, we've been asking literally every week since the PGA Tour has returned. Now we know he's coming to Memorial.
Yep, and we didn't have to have any type of sources or reporting because he took to Twitter himself, using his social media account and posting this message saying, I'm looking forward to playing in the Memorial Golf Tournament next week. I miss going out and competing with the guys and can't wait to get back out there again. Tiger Woods playing his first professional tournament since mid-February. All right, let's keep the conversation going in the First Cut podcast family. We got Rick Gehman, host, also Sportsline expert, DFS, among other things. And Rick, your first impressions of getting Tiger back, baby?
Yeah, it was nice to hear it right from the cat's mouth. We didn't have to do any speculation or any reporting, but this is kind of what we thought, right? The natural place for him to come back was Jack's tournament. It was the Memorial, but I think it's kind of been crazy how little we've talked about the fact that it's now going to be 5 months since we've seen Tiger Woods play in a golf tournament. He obviously opted to not play the Players Championship, and then with the cancellation and the sports world going into flux in mid-March, it kind of got overlooked that Tiger wasn't ready to play for the Players. So it's very interesting to see and exciting to see him finally back out on a course again next week.
It'll be interesting to see what pricing he gets in DFS. I know in a normal futures market, he's a public bet, right, Rick? He's always a guy that's going to be somewhat overvalued, and then so guys want to take long shots, say they bet on Tiger. What do you anticipate maybe his number will be, and do you generally sort of fade him, I don't want to say blindly, just because of what we've seen from the marketplace?
Unfortunately, he is a very difficult golfer to bet on or roster in DFS because he is, to your point, Tommy, always overvalued, and especially where we are in now, which is a perfect storm of there are a lot of casual sports fans that are looking for something to entertain them, and a lot of them are migrating to the golfing world. They're going to want to play Tiger Woods next week in their DFS lineups. They're going to want to bet Tiger Woods. So I imagine he's going to be probably somewhere in the $10,000 range on DraftKings, especially because his odds are going to be fairly short at a course that he's won 5 times. And odds makers can't help themselves. They don't want to get burnt on a 25-1 Tiger Woods. He'll probably come in somewhere 10, 12-1, something in that range, and see how many tickets come in on him.
All right, we're taking a look at his results. Of course, did T9 at the Farmers and then did not do well at the Genesis Invitational. Again, last time he played a pro tournament back in mid-February. And again, looking at his career PGA Tour wins list. Rick, when you look at his game right now as we prepare for next week, what do you like right now? What concerns do you have about his game?
I guess the main concerns are that we haven't seen him all that much, but I think for Tiger Woods now on the wrong side of 40, so to speak, rest is his best asset. Him just keeping his body in shape, and 5 months of rest. In between, we've only seen him play the match with Tom Brady, Phil Mickelson, Peyton Manning, and he looks spectacular there. Don't get me wrong. So I guess my only concern is that we haven't seen him, but no one knows their body and is in tune with everything that needs to go on like Tiger Woods. So if he feels like he's ready to compete, I certainly expect him to.
All right, so as we understand, I was talking to Sir Nick Faldo, our lead golf analyst, CBS Sports, talking about how Muirfield Village going back-to-back, but the greens will be longer for the second tournament. Things will change. How do you factor that into your handicapping?
Yeah, for sure. So there's actually kind of a weird situation where guys this week playing the Workday Charity Open, they might be getting a little extra reconnaissance, but they also might be a little bit more confused with some of the drastic changes that we could potentially see next week for the Memorial, with obviously the greens expected to run faster, the course to play a little bit longer, the rough to be a little bit thicker. So it is something that we're considering. Obviously, it is unheard of to play the same golf tournament on back-to-back weeks, so it will be an interesting situation that we will have to look at for next week's Memorial.
We've seen some crooked numbers first 4 tournaments, right? We're talking about even 15 under was the low point. A couple guys going over 20, including Bryson at 23 under for the Rocket Mortgage. Do we anticipate even going into the Workday Charity Open this week and Memorial that things will start to tilt? Things will be a little bit more challenging as we look ahead?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be breaking any scoring records for the next week or two. Muirfield Village is a place that you have to be in position. And if you are out of position on any shot, whether that is your tee shot, whether it is your approach shot, those crooked numbers, the big numbers, they pop up in a hurry. And it's very easy to make a bogey when you're leaving yourself with a 10-footer for par on every single hole. So Muirfield Village definitely has teeth. It's definitely going to bite back in a way that we have not seen other courses since the tour's restart bite back. And 2 straight weeks there and getting increasingly more difficult. I do not think we're going to see the scoring rates that we've seen thus far.
Rick, I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here, but I know you can do it, right? So I see you're wearing your Tiger Red. Give me a bet, either a prop bet or something you think is reasonable to back Tiger. So we talked about maybe the future odds being a little bit overpriced, a little bit expensive, but like, say, for instance, over under 68.5 or a prop going up against someone else. Is there something that you would maybe say, hey, you know what, I could probably back Tiger and it feels okay?
Yeah, I like Tiger in a lot of head-to-head matchups because when you're talking about head-to-heads, you want generally safe guys, safety, and you want guys that are super keen of the course that they're playing. Now, Tiger Woods winning 5 times at Muirfield Village, it doesn't get more keen than that. So he usually becomes a pretty good head-to-head option. But I would also look for him in, other than outright markets, maybe like a top 10 market, a top 5 market where there is a little bit of wiggle room. We haven't seen necessarily the full scope of Tiger's game in 5 months. We're not 100% sure where he's at. So asking him to win the golf tournament is a pretty tall task, especially in the field that we're going to see next week at the Memorial. I might be more interested in the top 10 market.
All right, great stuff as always. We're going to get those theoretical juices flowing as we get Tiger back here. Looking forward to your coverage and your insight again, future editions of HQ. Thanks, man.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.